Welcome, friends, to the mid-May 2024 Great British Mickey Waffle podcast. A bit of podcasting positivity with some helpful planning tips for your future trips, hopefully providing some inspiration to go and book a trip, or in this case, provide the inspiration to fulfill your childhood dreams and go and work there for the summer. Hi, I'm John, and I am joined by Claire. So, welcome, Claire. We are back.
Hey,
Back.
Todd.
You've let us loose
We're back.
again. You've let us loose.
I know, we're alone, we're
No,
unaccompanied,
no,
and
it's always
Ben
dangerous.
left the door unlocked, so it's up to us to do what we want tonight.
Oh dear! And actually, we've got two rather excited and yet possibly with apprehensive parents of on the screen as well. With our two guests joining us once again, and with the sound of John Denver's leaving on a jet plane firmly in their rears, we've got Josh and Morg back to talk about the progress that they've made on the Disney College program for the summer. Now, this is where, as updates go, this is absolutely huge. So, first of all, welcome to you both. It's good to have you back on the show.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Hello.
It only seems 2 minutes since you were last on. And actually, when I look back, there's so much happened in between time.
January.
Yeah.
It was like January or February. It's gone so quickly. I can't believe how long ago it was. And, so much has happened.
Oh, yeah, it really is.
It's flown by as well.
And I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite scary. Even as we're recording this, the clock is going so quickly towards your day of departure, and you're thinking, "Oh my word, you've got so much still to do," and you're running out of time. So, I think it's probably
move out.
I know why.
Morgan's going to move out of uni completely before he goes. So it's like, oh,
that's just scary stuff. It really is. What I would say, if anyone's listening to this, they're going to be there over the summer. So if you've got a trip planned, do feel free. Go and seek them out. Go and say hello. They will say hello back. But actually, if you make yourself known to them, we will make sure that when they're on again to tell you about their adventures over the summer, we'll give you a mention as well. So that's a little bit of the interactive part of the show, and just go and check out where Morg and Josh are. We'll find out where where you can find them. And perhaps just before we do start, I'm going to shamelessly plug our 1st of June show, simply because it's our first 5th birthday. And so when we talk about time going quick for these two, 5 years, 5 years, Claire, goodness me.
How have they let us do this for 5 years? How have we not been cancelled?
I know.
It's crazy, isn't it? I can't believe 5 years is blown by, and we're all still here. Couple. We've lost a couple along the way, but we've gained a couple of others. So
good.
The net worth is the same.
Oh dear! And actually, we have got an absolutely massive musical extravaganza planned for the show.
Have we done the musical episode?
I think it is. Yeah,
is that the one? It's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
not quite. Is it?
One episode of every sitcom ever.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, right?
That would be good. Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of musical in it, so you never know.
And also,
maybe
we've got, and there's loads more surprises. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it as an absolute teaser, because actually, I want to get on and talk to these two and actually just have a little bit of a refresh of where we left you. And everything seems to move quickly with a whole lot of things going on behind the scenes to fill in forms, make IT systems tick boxes, and then get another IT system to try and talk to the Disney IT system, which actually seems even more cumbersome than the old-fashioned Disney IT system. So, yeah, we left you with that exciting bit after interview when you actually got yourselves the knowledge of the fact that you were going to Disney for the summer. So what's happened next? Come on, share it with us. Josh, what's happened next?
Yeah.
What was the first thing that you actually needed to do after we finished recording that last show?
Well, where do we start, really? Probably the first thing we did after the last show, we began the process of applying for our visas and 7 forms.
Now, that was fun.
20.
Hang on a second. Let's do the visa first, because otherwise we're gonna lose people with all this talk. Right. So the visa.
Yeah.
Talk me through that.
Well, you basically
Can I clarify? It's a different visa to the one you would get if you were just going on a traveling visa. So if you're unable to get the ESTA and you have to apply for a visa, you get a B1/B2 visa, which is a tourism visa, and it does not allow you to work. Now, the visa you guys have had to apply for is a J1 visa, which is a working visa.
You're well up on all the info there. I've just
Look at me.
I've let Josh sort it out himself.
I thought I just want to clarify. This is a different kind of visa.
Very much so.
Basically,
it was a very similar process, though.
Is it?
I think, from having done both.
Right.
They still ask you for 4 documents out of the 20 you provide. But it's very similar line you go through. You need most of the same stuff. I think the only difference is some of the forms they ask for is in proof of working there, I think, is the key thing. And some other faff at the actual border control itself.
And did Disney provide you with that additional form that says, or did that come from Yummy Jobs?
That came from
what did you get from Disney?
Yummy Jobs sent a list.
It was Yummy Jobs.
Yeah. They told us what documents to take to the visa interview. Disney didn't tell us really. They just told us go and get your visa sorted, basically.
They do provide you with the authorization form. So I'm trying to remember what number it is. It's like DS-201.
Yeah, that's the one.
Something.
Yeah.
That says this is what you're going for. This is the J1 visa. This is the company you're working for. This is how long you're going to do it, which is really important to have.
Okay, so they provide you with the information for the American embassy to say that, yes, you're going there to work. This is who you're working for. This is how long you're working for them. And it's all above board. And it's not that you're just going out there and to look for work and never coming home again. They've given a very specific piece of information for the embassy to consider the visa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And also,
so what did you have to do for the visa appointment? Did you have to go?
Yeah, there was quite a bit there, Claire, I think, as well. I think this is where sort of WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups kind of relay little rumors about, oh, you need to have this, or you have to have that, and you must have this, and you can't have that, and actually, you basically just go on what Disney sent you. Josh, what else did you find that was quite useful?
Well, touching on what you said about the whole Facebook groups and things like that of people rumor spreading and saying you need this, you need that. If you haven't got this, you're not going to get your visa. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, all you ended up needing, certainly for mine, and I think it was the same for Morg as well. You needed your DS 2019, you needed your passport, and you needed, what was the other one? There's one more. Oh, your Sevis ID. That was it.
The Sevis.
Yeah.
Form.
So you needed them 3
proof of payment that you've paid.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, and you took all the other documents, but they didn't actually require you to take everything else. So everybody that had been stressing in these groups, I need this, this, didn't end up being quite as stressful as they make it out that it probably will be.
I will say, I probably got about 50 different documents
in your folder.
In my folder of insurance proof, of bank statements, of anything under the sun.
The reason that you'd need to come back to the UK afterwards as well. That's often what they want to know.
Yeah, and usually
it's always worth having this
and things
stuff.
like that too. I think they quite like to see that sometimes.
Yeah. But I think it's really important to note that it's worth having this stuff, even if they don't ask for it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't bring it, they're going to ask for it.
Yeah.
You know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you'll be sent away. There's nothing you can
Yeah.
do at that point. They send you away. So,
I think what's
best safe than sorry
about the day, though, it actually is quite a nice experience. You know, you get to go to this big, lovely US embassy building. You're in there for about an hour.
Bit Men in Black on the inside.
What's that, sorry?
There's a bit Men in Black on the inside.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, it's a really nice. And then
no talking pugs or anthropomorphic aliens, but
no, it was nice.
Very efficient.
Yes.
No, then you get an afternoon in London if you want it by the end of the day. So it's a nice experience, and you can make it a good day out, really.
And how much did the visa cost each? It was what, £160 each, something like that, was it?
Yes, without postage.
Okay, so then you paid extra. Did you do the same, Josh? Pay extra to have your passport couriered back to you? Because as long as they approve the visa, they keep your passport, don't they?
Yeah.
And then they send it to you.
Yeah.
About a week, 10 days later, with your visa in it.
Or if you choose not to do that,
so you have
a week to 10 working days. Yeah.
You can go back to London to pick it up.
Basically, yeah.
You're really inclined.
If you want to. I suppose if you're around the corner from Hammersmith, then it's easy. But it's
it's not even Hammersmith, Mum. It's Battersea.
Oh, it's,
okay.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
If you're there, it's simple. But if
you're there
not,
and you're not, then it's easier to get posted.
Yeah.
So Josh, for you had to travel down.
I did, yeah.
And did you have to stay overnight?
No, so
before, or did you come down on the same day?
I came down the same day. I got the first train out of Liverpool at about 5:20 in the morning. Got down to London for about 10 to 8. My appointment was about 10:30, so I just got the underground, was there for about 9:30. So from leaving Liverpool to actually arriving at the venue, I was there by 9:30 in the morning. And then
that's good.
Yeah, just got the National Express back up in the afternoon. So yeah, it's very doable, but you just need to allow yourself a bit of time between train station and actually getting to the embassy, because it's a bit out on a limb a little, London. So,
and you had a sensible appointment time, Morgan. Your appointment time was what time?
My appointment time was at 8:30 in the morning, so I got there at 7, thinking I'll get in there early. The embassy didn't open till 7:30, and there was a long queue.
I think that was the biggest
probably
queue of the day, though, really. The biggest queue of the day is the one outside of the waiting to get in. But once you're in there,
it moved relatively quickly.
Yeah.
And you had to go through security a bit like an airport security and everything. There's stuff you can't take in. And
so because it's American soil, you do go through the same airline security protocol with the bag scan, no liquids. Or you have to show the liquid, and you have to show that you can drink the liquid, so they know it's not fake.
Yeah.
I think my biggest advantage on the security,
and they're a bit more,
is that it didn't cut me out, but it caught some people out, that you're not allowed to take a laptop into the US embassy with you. So the security on the door were taking laptops out of people's bags and saying not allowed in, and so they had to go and leave their laptop at a local hotel concierge, who. It happens quite often, so they would charge for the service. It was about, I think someone paid about £10 for their laptop behind the desk. So just that was not something I was aware of. Didn't catch me out, thankfully, but it's just something to make people aware of, that if you can avoid taking your laptop, then do.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a bit of a nightmare especially if you're running late and you find out you can't.
Yeah.
You can't take it in, and you have to run back to the hotel and rejoin the line.
Yeah.
Luckily, they're quite good at holding your appointment if you're a bit later.
Okay.
So they call you. It's like having a ticket at the doctor's or whatever. They'll call your number multiple times, and if you miss it, you miss it. Then But if you're they will hold your position.
So they take you to a window and have a chat with you about what you're going to do and where you're going to go.
Yeah.
And give you a verdict there, and it's like Caesar, thumbs up, thumbs down at that very moment.
They're really not.
And then they hold on to your passport.
They're really not as cruel as I was expecting. To be honest, I thought it was going to be like interrogating.
Okay.
He was talking to me about my university course and books that he'd read that he might think I'm interested into in my course. So it wasn't strict
nice.
at all. It was.
You must have had the nice person. I'm not sure Morgan
I have
had
to say,
that.
my guy was woke up on the wrong side of bed.
And Morgan had the guy who works at MCO immigration.
Yeah, I the one who had his sense of humour taken. All business, no fun. In and out within 5 minutes, basically.
Okay, well, efficient.
It was efficient, but not pleasant.
And then you received your passports back about 10 days later with a snazzy visa page.
It looks rather cool, doesn't it? Which, you know,
it's very cool.
It is one of those things that you'll remember for the rest of your life. Of the time that you had the visa in your passport. It's absolutely brilliant.
It does look cool. We went on holiday at the beginning of April, and so we'd have just sort of try and show the visa off a little bit to the passport people on the desk. It looks quite.
I think it depends on where you were going, whether or not they liked it or not, wouldn't it? So
yeah.
See an American visa and go, no.
Yeah, you can imagine, couldn't you? So is there anything
what else
else?
have you had to do?
I think that was the most worrying bit, wasn't it? So what else did you need to put together? Let's go through documentation. Let's go through that quite quickly because it's the worst bit. It's just actually filling forms in.
Yeah, the other one they like to see as well. They didn't ask for it on the day, but they wanted you to take was your student proof of registration form again. This is what I've found a bit frustrating across all of these sites that you have to put your documents into, is that you basically sending off the same documents out of all of these websites. The same ones go every single time. So you send your student ID form to Disney, they approve it. Then you send it to the US government, they approve it. Then you take it to your interview, they approve it. Now you have to put it through Workday, you have to put it through I-9, whatever. You basically put in.
There's more sites than there are Disney parks. It is ridiculous, and none of them talk to each other.
That's a lovely way to describe it. Actually.
None of them talk to the others.
Yeah.
That is so funny. That's such a good. That is such a good analogy.
Yeah.
It's like having 8 Disneyland Parises.
All this inefficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Goodness.
It baffles you that they actually just can't.
So you had to get
to work them together. That's what throughout this whole thing.
Isn't it strange? It's like the NHS.
Yeah.
All these different systems that don't talk to each other.
I'm sure it's very tricky, and I'm sure they're working on a way to fix it. But
it hasn't happened this year.
No.
And then you had to get insurance.
Yeah, health insurance.
That created a little bit of conversation as well, because actually, I think both Claire and I had looked at a range of different things. You guys were also getting other information about what was expected and also what was the best value. And also there was different levels of that health insurance as well, wasn't there? So if you went for the cheapest option, that perhaps wasn't the best option that would maybe give you the coverage in the worst case scenario. And yet other people were trying to say, well, actually, my daughter's found this insurance. Is this okay? And again, we're into that bit where there was not really a hard and fast answer, except to just do what Disney told you to do, and just go with the expensive one, because that actually was going to be the most efficient.
No matter what you looked at out there, I think for the sake of saving, it wasn't going to be a hell of a lot of money. But knowing that this Gallagher insurance had been approved by Disney actually recommend them to you at all stages. They say this is the company that
It's reassuring.
It's reassuring. So you know that if there is a problem, you'd like to think that they're the best guys to deal with you. But equally, they're not going to be. Disney are not going to be recommending basically students or people who are coming to work for them a company that will not give them the coverage that you require. So,
No.
so yeah, as you said, it's reassuring, and it might save you $20-30 going somewhere else for all I know. But at least this way, you know for a fact that it's going to be you're going to get the coverage that you need.
Okay.
I think that's the important bit, Josh, isn't it? That you know, certainly from my point of view, and I'm sure from John's as well, that it's actually, as a parent, you want to know that if you're ill or if something happens, you're sorted, and you're not going to have to worry about going and getting help from a nurse or a doctor or anything like that. If there was a problem, you got injured or you were sick, you can get the help that you need. And I think the insurance that Disney recommends is obviously set up to be able to support people on the college program. And as John said, there was 2 different levels. There was a standard level and an enhanced level. And the difference between I think the difference financially was something like $35 across the 3 months or something. It wasn't a huge amount of money, but the difference meant, that if you
could
pay
just
for
walk in.
the higher level, there isn't a cost per visit to a urgent care centre. Whereas if you pay for the standard level, every time you went to the urgent care centre, you'd have to pay a fee to be able to be seen. Now, as a parent, I would much rather pay the upfront cost and know that if Morgan felt unwell and he needed to get antibiotics or he needed to go and get support for something, he wasn't going to have to find $50 when he got there to be able to be seen. Because that might be a deterrent to get sorted. So for me, paying the upfront extra was a no-brainer. That was my choice, and I think that you probably did the same, didn't you, John?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, Claire. I think that's the bit where you only it's like with anything, isn't it? You know, insurance always appears to be, oh, we'll take the cheapest option because actually we probably won't need it. But actually, when you do need it, if you pay just that little bit more, it actually gives you so much more back. And you know, I would always say that about any kind of travel insurance. Yeah, if you don't need it, well, hey, that's a good thing. You've probably enjoyed your holiday and you haven't had to visit any of these urgent care centres. But if you ever do have to go there, what you don't want is that whole experience of, you know, oh, have you got your credit card? And it's like the credit card then becomes the first point of call when you walk in, and then it's suddenly you then get that feeling of how much is it now going to cost me? And that's really it's that peace of mind. And actually, I think with Disney, and I was going to say this at the outset, in some respects, they've got a duty of care because they've recommended this insurer and they've also recommended taking out this insurance. It works both ways, doesn't it? So actually, there's no sort of cutting corners on that one, unfortunately. And you know, it's.
I think when it comes to the college program,
hopefully we never need it. That's it.
There's a heightened risk, you know, and we're not going on a holiday. We're not just going to have a chill for 3 months. We're actually working. We're putting ourselves into an environment that you don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, it's not really a corner you should really cut on this one. It's a bit of a no-brainer. If you need to go to an emergency room, then you can go, and you're not going to have to pay any hidden fees anywhere. So
no, that's good.
Right. And then you need travel insurance as well, because obviously, so from my point of view, I can say that our travel insurance when we travel as a family comes through my bank account. It's covered for all of us. But this is a working holiday, so travel insurance is different. And that's been just recently the next thing to pay for. You'll be noticing a theme, anyone who's listening, in terms of paying out for stuff.
It's exactly it, Claire. we haven't even touched on flights and things like that. You know, it's just like the list gets longer and longer and longer. And actually, when you could,
you know what? I do not begrudge any of it.
I don't, and I think that's the biggest thing I would say. And I keep trying to remind Josh of this purely on the fact that you're fulfilling a dream, and actually, it will cost. It doesn't matter if you're going for the summer and what you actually earn basically covers your costs and covers your extra bag and your merch and things like that. It's the experience, and it's just paying for these additional parts. Don't let that put you off in any way, shape, or form, because actually that's not what this is about. It's about going and living the dream, and actually, it will. It doesn't come. It's like a typical Disney thing, isn't it? It doesn't come for free. It doesn't come cheap, you know. So.
No one was suggesting you were going out there to earn your life savings. No, put it like that.
No, but at the end of the day, what should happen is you should come back equal to what you spent originally, and then there's not many other
Cost
experiences
neutral.
out there that you can do. Yeah, cost neutral. There's not many other experiences out there that involve a 10-week Disney stay and an experience of a lifetime for nothing, you know. So that's the way to look at it, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've done your visa, we've done insurance, bit of paperwork and all that. That's all in place. That's good. You then had to basically try to get accommodation, which again was another thing that has to be done prior to finding out where you were working. So that goes in, and there's different categories of accommodation as well, isn't there, if I'm right in thinking?
Yeah. And we still don't know where we're going to be staying.
3. No, we've not been given any clarification yet.
Yeah.
But there's 3 different categories, 3 tiers, and there is the ability to link up with another roommate or a friend on your program, which we've done, and hopefully we'll be in the same space.
Yeah.
Come June.
Yeah, because again, that's at different cost points as well, isn't it? You know, so again, if you're wanting basic that dormitory experience, up towards sort of having a little bit more privacy and a little bit more, a little bit more of a holiday-esque kind of feel of a hotel room. Yeah, that's a nice way of describing it, Claire. Yeah.
I mean, I think the difference is here in the UK for university students. I know, Morgan, you've had an ensuite room for the 3 years you've been at uni. Admittedly, some better than others. Josh, have you got an ensuite room at uni?
I did last year, but I'm in a student house this year, but still got my own bedroom.
Okay. But yeah. So my understanding is for American universities, it's very common for people to share a room and certainly share bathrooms between several. And that's not normal in the UK. So the thought of having to, share a room and a bathroom with someone it's a bit of an alien concept. So, quite understandably, I think both of you have requested an ensuite room of your own as your first choice, haven't you? So you've got some space of, personal space to be doing whatever you would normally do at university.
Sleep.
Sleep is for the weak.
That's not going
to be involved in this.
No, I think that's not on the list of the job. That's not on the job spec. I don't think. That's it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, is to probably have your own bedroom. I think that as a UK cast member, that's probably the preference. But I mean, when you're out there, I think you're not going to be using those facilities a hell of a lot anyway. So it's probably just one of them that you take what you're given and you get on with it, really.
As long as the kitchen is nice and clear and tidy and isn't a tip, I will be happy.
You feel there's a bit of an issue here. So I know that Morgan and I had a conversation earlier today about the state of his kitchen at university. And he's a bit of a clean.
I'm neurotic about the kitchen. I'm OCD.
But, if you're eating food from it needs to be clean.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah. So that's the most important thing. When do you find out the accommodation that you get? Is it when you check in? The day you
Pretty
arrive?
Much.
I think it's a couple of weeks before we go, or is it the day we arrive? I'm not sure.
From what I've been told,
exciting. That'd be quite a good one.
The people who are starting a week before us, so they're from the Netherlands, they've been told this week. So we'll find out provisionally, and emphasis on provisionally, what our room's going to be next week. That's if we're to follow the same pattern.
Oh, that's exciting.
People, yeah. However, Disney do stress that this is provisionally, and from things I've read, it is provisional because it changes when you get there potentially. What I also did see
suspect to
was
change momentarily.
80% of people. Yeah, and 80% of people get the shared room facility. That's what the one Disney have the most of. And then it's like 10% on the other two options. So the odds are basically stacked against us, really, if we want what we want. But We'll find out next week. That's the.
I was there. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was in Walt Disney World 10 days a week ago at the time of recording. And I popped into the UK pavilion and then I had a chat with a couple of the cast members who were working there, who had they're on the year-long cultural exchange, but they'd both done the summer program before that. So I asked them about the accommodation and what the likelihood was about getting a room on your own. And they said exactly that, Josh, that the majority of the accommodation, 85% of it, is shared rooms. And the people who get the individual rooms often have a medical need or a specific specific requirement. They've got their, emotional support llama with them or whatever it is. And so John giggling.
I'm not even. I'm not going there, Claire. I'll get into trouble if I go there. Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So they said that I think one of them had a single room but a shared bathroom on their summer program, and the other one had shared a room. But they said they barely saw the other person in their room because the shift patterns and they're working different places. So it actually wasn't an issue. They were worried about it, but it wasn't a problem. So
I think
that was a positive thing.
I think as well, Claire, this is another thing that I've not been privy to, but I know Josh and Morg have both done a lot of delving into different either Facebook communities and also on TikTok and on different socials, as to try and glean information from other people who've done this or other people that are going through it. Now, what we're finding is that people who come through the other side are the ones actually have the best advice to give. The ones with the worst advice are the ones who are going through the same situation that Josh and Morg are, where it's all completely new to you and everyone's come to the wrong decision. Now, today, Josh shared with me a really lovely tale about, I'm not even going to name who they are, but they did the college program, I think, for a year. And actually what they said, and the bit that resonates with me is basically the more you put into it, the more you get out. But actually, some of the people that you meet will be friends for life. And I think that comes back to being in an environment where you're all got something so much in common that you basically you all pull together and you become a team yourselves, and you then become sort of as one under that Disney umbrella. And I think that's a bit that I think is more exciting than some of the rumor mills that happen with the people that don't know exactly what's going to happen to them. So, yeah, Josh, away you go.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing, though, is that this is, as far as meeting people are going to be concerned, there's a shared interest amongst us all, and that doesn't happen in most societies. It's not going to be difficult to start talking to people, basically, because you're in Disney, you all want to be there, you're all working there. That's for a start. But now, touching on that thing that I'd sent to you earlier on, I really do recommend people looking at it. It's on something called the Disney Den, and it's a cast member, an interview with a CP called Erin, and she did outdoor foods. Very interesting as to what
we'll come to that. Come to that in a moment. Also, there was some really good advice. If you're not very good at your job, they won't hesitate, and I think one of the they won't hesitate in letting you go. And that's the other thing. If you get caught for underage drinking, that was something she basically had seen, that someone was basically sacked on the spot because they were drinking in the accommodation block. And so it's knowledge like that's trying to give you that insider knowledge without scaring you, but actually allowing you to know that that's the expectation. And similarly, it's Disney you're working for, so they're not going to suffer fools gladly because you are the public face of their company. So again, it's trying to get that sort of whole mantle of that together. Morg,
it's really important to remember that you're there to work. You're there to earn money and develop skills and gain a outlet only really provided from working for a company like Disney. You're not there. Well, yes, you're there to have fun, but you're not there to mess about or drink underage. Those are all like subheadings to the fun.
Yeah.
Don't let that take over the entire experience, because I think, as you said, what you put into it is what you get out of it. And at the end of the day, if you do all that, you're either going to get terminated or you're going to leave it feeling very unfulfilled.
Yeah. And you have
I
to
think it's
remember
very
what
important, because this could be something you only
the
do
whole reason we
once.
got the job in the first place was that when we interviewed for the job way back in December and August, and we pitched ourselves to Disney, who we were as people, and they make that call on why you want to go and do it, basically. And we both have reasons of why we want to go and do it, and none of these subheadings should ever cloud why you want to be there and do what we're going to go and do. So,
no, I
ultimately, if you just go along with it and you go with the flow and you enjoy your time working where you're working, and you enjoy the fun that they provide for you in Flamingo as well, with all the events they hold, you're going to end up having a great time anyway.
Yeah,
there's no need to mess about and be an idiot.
Yeah, I actually I really admired the answers that both of you are given to that, because actually I actually think it shows that you've got your head screwed on with this, and you actually, rather than being fearful of the sort of the rule book, you're very much aware that it's only a limited time, and it's that time where you're never ever going to be able to have this experience ever again. And I really, from the bottom of my heart, that's so refreshing, that you've come back with that answer rather than, oh, I've got to abide by this rule. Because certainly a lot of people of your age at this particular moment in time certainly seem to have that attitude towards work, and on a wider scale. So I'm
definitely.
I'm delighted to hear that.
In terms of other information, where else have you got your information? Because I know that when I was there last week before, I had a chat with a couple of people who have supported a couple of cast members who've run into difficulty, and I fed that back to Morgan in terms of the point system and people being terminated because they were late and various things like that. Have you had any other information? I know there's been like Facebook groups, Instagram chats, there's all sorts of like Reddit, there's tons of forums on Reddit and stuff like that. Have you been looking at that information, or have you tried to stay out of it a little bit? Because I know from a parent's point of view, there is Parents of Disney College Program Facebook group, which I am in, and I found it invaluable. Someone shared a packing list last week. I was like, oh,
really?
I'm not sure I need to remind you to take underwear and a USB cable, but for some people that might be necessary.
There's certainly advantages to being a part of it.
Overparenting.
There's certainly advantages to being a part of like these Facebook groups and things like that, but you have to be selective into what you want to take from it and how much you want to read into it.
What you believe.
Yeah, because if you're sitting there stressing about Disney sending you this form, and you enter these chats and guarantee there's 50 to 60 other people then stressing, and these 50 different people opinion on they should be stressing about. So what isn't a stress for you is a stress for someone else. It then becomes a stress for you, and it then becomes a stress for if you want to read into it, and
it becomes an echo chamber. And
get some useful information out of it. Then they're worth doing. But what me and Morg I know can speak for Morg on this one. We've kept a backseat really in it and watched the people stress about things. And then
I've only this week joined the merchandise Facebook and Instagram chats. We've just because I needed help with some of these forms. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere.
We've had a side chat and laughing at some people.
But you've been talking to each other.
But yeah, we talk to each other and we laugh at the people stressing.
You've been talking to each other. So
no, if we've had any problems, we generally just speak to each other, don't we? But all these other people will speak to everybody else and
normally
trust them with the life.
Search and look on.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, a quick Google search.
But some of the questions I get
just believing random, what you see on the group chat.
Oh no, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, answers to some of the more government documentation stuff you can find on the American Consulate website.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff you can find on there or has already been sent to us by Yummy Jobs.
I was just about to say that.
They sent us a massive email pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sent a massive email pack like 4 or 5 months ago.
With everything
works through everything that you could possibly need.
There you are. Funny that.
So yeah, it's almost like they not trying to catch you out.
Yeah, they've
Yeah.
done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just add as well, because I know maybe some people are thinking about maybe applying in the future, etc. And if you're coming from the UK, Yummy Jobs is you basically your landing point for a job like this. It's a bit of a loaded question, but how have both of you found that whole experience and support that's been offered by Yummy Jobs? Because I think that for me has been something I think along the way has been very useful. So, Josh, what was your opinion of Yummy Jobs?
I'm really impressed, to be honest. From basically the minute of putting in the application, they've always been in contact with us more so than any other people out there. So Yummy Jobs are always in contact. If they you need to do something, they'll send you basically an instruction list on how to do it. They guide it through how to apply for your visa, how to apply for your service, how to apply for your DS 2019. And without that email pack, I'd have been sitting there still now without a Scooby. So they help you with that. If you need help with literally any question to do with your DBS maybe that you need or things like that, you just send them an email to the relevant department and they get back to you within a day, 2 days maybe maximum. So yeah, no, really, really helpful. And yeah, they're the ones that you should direct your questions at if you do have any ones that are to do with documentation or real pressing questions, because they get back to you straight away with the correct answers. So.
Yeah, that's good to know. Morg, have you got a similar opinion?
Yeah, no, I've got nothing but positive words to say about Yummy Jobs. I know in December I had some issues around my actual interview date, with it clashing with one of my final assessments. And they were really good about it. And in the end, the university managed to move the assessment itself. So that was fine. The issue was non-existent. But they were really good about it. They were providing me with help desk links and support and reassurance that it would be okay.
Yeah.
Which was really, pardon me, it was really quite nice to have that support and have that just reliability. You know you can fall back on them if something happens. Mm-hmm. And even now, as Josh has said, they've been sending us documents, they've been sending us emails, checking in, saying, hope you've done this, hope you've done this, hope you've done this. Make sure you've done this. I think it's sort of transitioned over to Disney a bit more. And now Disney is reaching out, as we're closer to the time, Disney is reaching out with a lot of the forms, because we're submitting a lot of these forms to Disney. So having Yummy Jobs as previous lists of documents to refer back to go, okay, Disney, here you go, is really quite slick.
Yeah.
And interesting, John, I saw on Facebook maybe 3 or 4 days ago from the point of recording, Yummy Jobs have just been honoured to be awarded the best US placement recruitment company of the year for 2014
I didn't know that. There you go.
Corporate Vision, which is large awards for. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
this is not something they just breezed into. They do this regularly. So I think in terms of Yummy Jobs, that means that they're credible. So people shouldn't be worried about using them. I know the name is catchy, but they know their stuff. So it sounds like they've been supportive all the way through, which is really good.
I think that's super.
Yeah, and actually, quickly, just jumping in, on the interview day itself, they were all lovely. They were all really supportive, and they were really nice and comforting of nerves and stuff on the actual interview day.
That's good.
Which is a really important time for it to be. And like, they're not just comforting over email. They're not just there over email. Actually,
they actually mean
lovely.
it.
I think what surprised me on that interview. Oh God, just to jump in on that interview day when we were down there, is the people that we've been in communication with over email. Certainly Alexis is one of the names who we'd been in contact with over email. She sent instructions. She was actually there on our interview day as well. So it wasn't as if we're talking to
that's cool
basically email addresses, and then you get there and it's completely different people that have been sent there. All these people already pretty much knew that they'd already interviewed you or you spoke to over email, so they kind of knew who you were. That was reassuring back in December as well as it is now. So
Yeah, I'm just thinking of anyone listening to this who is a parent, and certainly I'm probably speaking for Claire as well on this one, but that reassurance is one thing that I've not had anything to do with this process. I openly admit, I went down for the interview with you, but it's the type of thing you've had to sort out yourself because actually you're of an age to do that. But knowing that the support that's come from them, and actually knowing that they're a good port of call. If you're a parent listening to this who's got a child who wants to do the same thing again, don't be put off by the name Yummy Jobs. They are basically they are doing Disney's work for them or Universal's work for them or whoever. Even I don't think they're even involved with some parts of Camp America and things like that. But don't be put off by the fact that it's like a UK company. They are there and they are actually doing the best for our children. And I think I wasn't expecting it to be a big advert for Yummy Jobs. What actually it turns into it in the end, I'm just aware we've gone so long into this show, and actually, loads of people are actually waiting for the latest bit of news because actually
the big reveal.
And actually, that's the bit really where Yummy Jobs handed this across to Disney, and then Disney kept in a way Disney sort of kept changing what your status was on their system. And yet, only a matter of days ago, you found out where you were going. So I'm going to start with Morg. So you can have the big reveal first. Whereabouts will people find you at Walt Disney World in the summer?
So I am very fortunate, and I'm very happy about this. I am very fortunate to be working in what used to be Mouse Gear, now Creations, in Epcot, and I'm working in Club Cool.
Okay.
So I will be smelling like Mouse Gear and drinking Beverly all summer long. And it will be very interesting.
And if you're anywhere near those,
but it should be very fun.
Anywhere near those Coke machines, you probably have to get. If you're in there for a period of time, you probably have to get someone like shovel you off the floor because you
unstick your feet.
your feet will be stuck to it. Yeah, shovel me off.
Floor mopping in your future.
I do enough for that in my kitchen now.
King of the wet floor side.
If anyone sees Morg working and doing that job, please take photos and put them in the Wafflers. We would love to see that whole experience because it'd be comedy gold. But what a fabulous place. And this is the exciting part of it because actually you've got that. I'm going to go to Josh. Whereabouts did you find out? Because yours is not quite as specific, is it?
No, mine's not so specific, but it's still incredibly exciting. So I'm going to be in Animal Kingdom, and I've been assigned the role of outdoor food. So mine is a very much not specifically in one location. I could be anywhere around the park at any given time. But yeah, you can find me in Animal Kingdom this summer. So
it's like Where's Wally?
Yeah, and also basically the thing is that it's going to cost a fortune in popcorn buckets, isn't it? It's just going to be you're going to come home with like a suitcase full of popcorn buckets.
The amount of
Kingdom. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it now.
I'm going to come home with a creation stuff.
Yeah. Both of you are going to get cool costumes though, because Josh, you get the Animal Kingdom printed, like almost like tunic top, the baggy tunic top and trousers, don't you? That would be cool, like the yellow and orange and red one.
Yeah. We can't in the heat as well.
Yeah, right. And Morgan, you've got the dark grey trousers and the new Epcot shirt, which is the grey one with the spaceship Earth patterning on the shoulder and like the green piping,
and the
piping. Which is new from when they've opened that new central area. So really cool costumes. Should wash and iron quite easily, just saying, people.
My ironing board's over there.
You're not taking it with you. But yeah, Josh, I'm hoping you're going to be at Mr. Kamal's at some point.
Oh, that would be superb, wouldn't it? No, that would be it.
Making all those season fries.
It's going to be exciting. It's one of them that I'll find out when I'm there what they want me to do on the day, and that's just as exciting. So
and different place every day, and I think that's one of the other things that I asked the girls I spoke to in the UK pavilion is, what what would be, I actually said to them, what would be your one piece of advice for someone coming to do the summer program? I explained the situation. And they both said, take every opportunity to take every experience possible. So they both said, don't sleep, just work and then take every opportunity. So when you can, swap shifts if you can. So try and certainly with like outdoor food and beverage and also merchandise, you've got the ability to trade shifts and you potentially could work in every park and get a costume from every park and pick up shifts everywhere. So when you're trained, actually you've got the opportunity to be everywhere. So they said take every chance to do that, because it's probably on the college for the 10-week program is probably the only time you'll get to do that. Because if you go back for a year program, then you're stuck in the UK pavilion. It's the only place you can work and no one else can work there. So being on that short program in the summer where you're in a generic area means, rather than attractions where you're trained on a specific attraction, you're stuck there. If you're in merch or food and bev, then actually you got the opportunity to go and work in different places. So they said, do that, trade shifts and go and see what it's like to work in the Emporium for a day, Morgan, or Josh, go and work at, the spring roll cart or whatever it is. Go and have an experience in a different park.
Yeah. So mine, because Animal Kingdom's hours are a lot shorter than Epcot's or Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Is that from I've read online is that if your Animal Kingdom sometimes operates until 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the summer. So they kind of get the people who are doing outdoor food to maybe go to Hollywood Studios to do Fantasmic or to go and do whatever shows.
That'd be amazing.
That would be your dream.
No,
I mean,
no,
that would be
what
your
I'm
dream
excited
come true.
about.
I know that for a fact. Yeah.
That would be so cool.
That would be
Or actually,
true.
because the dates for the Halloween party have just been announced, haven't they?
Yes.
You could both end up working at the Halloween party.
The first one.
Theoretically, we
I
can
think
pick up shifts.
because mine and Morg's roles are theme park based and they are quite open to what you're doing. So Morg's obviously got a big massive shop. I'm being trained in different things in outdoor food. That is transferable to different locations. Not like they're going to train us up in one specific area. So for us, it's we've both got quite lucky, really. So
got some flexibility in terms of what you can do. So
yeah,
that would be amazing. I can just imagine you both working a Halloween party in that costume, the yellow checked costume. That'd be great.
Claire, I'm just going to reference back to last month's mid-month, because we had former cast member on the show, Emily, who regularly joins in the chat on our Wafflers Wednesday show. But her advice to both the boys was exactly what you've just said. Go and do as much and experience, get yourself as involved with as much as you possibly can. Because she ended up doing, I think there's competitions that you can have.
She entered some competitions and won a backstage tour and all sorts.
So that part of it, I think for you guys, that's why when you come back on the show again, once you return to the UK, and you actually get sort of back into so-called normal life, it'd be interesting to see what you guys have actually managed to fit in, because in some ways it's just going to be just completely full on for she was on the year-long program, so she probably had a longer time to absorb an awful lot of it. You guys are just going to get this thrown straight at you, and it's going to be just sort of just take as much as you can that you can just have as a lifetime experience. I think that for me is that whole bit of how you've both responded again to your places of work. I know certainly in some places a lot of people have certainly in some of the Facebook groups have been complaining, I'll put it that way, that I didn't want to do this, I can't do this, and actually you don't have a choice.
Suck it up.
That's what you've been allocated. That's the job that's been allocated for you. So just go and do it.
So I think you just need to remember to be grateful actually that you've got the opportunity to work at Disney. You've got this far. You've got this opportunity. Lots of other people either won't because they can't afford it, or they won't because they
didn't get picked.
Well, they didn't get
They didn't get through the
It's definitely a one in a lifetime chance.
And going back to something we were saying earlier on about these Facebook groups, things like that is that a lot of the blogs you read online, they very much have the same discussion we've just had there, as you utilize every opportunity. But the blogs that you read are also very realistic about what Disney will expect of you. And I think for them people, if you go out there with that expectation that you will be working hard, you will be working shifts that are not going to be great, but you just have to remind yourself at all times you're working in Disney. And when you wake up the next day and you've got a day off, you're not sitting in a rainy England. You're actually able to go into a theme park and enjoy every minute. If you've had a rubbish
rainy
day,
Orlando.
you might as well hug.
Yeah,
There's not
you
many
can
people that can do that. So
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's
Go and hang out at Typhoon Lagoon or whatever it is.
yeah.
Stuff cool.
Absolutely.
Go see
Drink Beverly.
It's the old George Best.
I just imagine
Drink Canada Dry. Drink Beverly.
Yeah.
Drink Beverly Dry. Beverly's only about 20 miles from where I live, so yeah. Maybe one day, Morg. Maybe one day we do the pubs around Beverly. That'd be quite a good one. Yeah.
I just don't. I have visions of Morgan for the day, for 10 weeks, watching people pulling faces all day, every day, in terms of drinking that stuff. How many people stitch up their family, going, "Yeah, try it. It's really nice.
It's
yeah,
lovely.
It's going to be great." Or the Chinese one, which tastes a bit like barbecue sauce as well. That's the other one that's not very pleasant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be fun. And I really want to know is there anything that you're worried about, either of you, in terms of, because we're talking just a matter of a few short weeks before you go. Is there anything you're worried about, or is it all positive?
No, I think I'm worried about the difficulty of it. I'm worried that I'll come out of it thinking I could have done more.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm going to go there trying to make the most of it. I'm going to come out of it thinking, God, I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have done that. I think there's always more you could want to do. But at the same time, you've got to remember to give yourself a break. Ring home sometimes. Check in. Make sure everyone's okay. You can't push yourself 24/7. I think that's another thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about pushing myself too far the other way. But not doing enough and doing too much.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think the time's going to go so quickly. That's going to be the challenge, isn't it? The balance.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? Is there anything you're fearful of?
I think for me, it's been a battle the last few weeks with my university, and just being able to go with a lot of stress to do with an exam they scheduled me for when they knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. And yeah, so I think in my head, I've been very much trying to not get myself too excited, and now it's actually happening. I think the moment I sit on the plane and it takes off, I think that'll be the moment I can breathe, and I'm just going to in a minute. But yeah, that's been my biggest worry recently. So I think there's still a part of me that nags away, even though it's all sorted. It's been that stressful for so long now. But until I sit on that plane, I think, which will happen. That'll be the moment that it all sinks in, and like, I'm actually going to Disney World. I think that was one of the messages me and Morg shared right from the very offset, really, from when we put the application in to when we passed the pre-screen to when we actually passed the interview. It actually just hasn't really sunk in what we're about to go and do. It still doesn't feel real that we're at time of recording. We're I'm a month and 2 days away from flying out. I think it's just I'm beyond it. Words can't even flag like how incredible it's going to be. Away. This is just it's getting into the realms where it's pretty crazy now.
And that's the thing, John. You're not going, are you? You're not going to drop Josh off. No, what a bad dad you are.
Exactly. Yeah. The worst thing I've got to do is we're actually in Edinburgh. We're going to see two bands. We've got to see James in Glasgow on the Friday. We're then going to see Taylor Swift on the Saturday, and then on the Saturday after the gig, I've got to drive all the way to Manchester to make sure Josh gets on the plane. So that gig
Oh my
will be
goodness.
very
That's
it'll be
crazy.
very coffee fueled, I would imagine, and it'll be an overnight drive to Manchester, which
Oh my
it'll be
goodness.
it's all part of
It's
the experience and
See,
things
that's a
like that.
very different experience to me
Yeah,
because I'm going out with
yeah.
Morgan. So they start on the Monday. I'm going out with Morgan the previous Tuesday. Um, and I'm staying for 3 nights. 3 nights to Orlando in the
Wow.
UK. It's ridiculous. And then flying back on the Friday night. Um, because there's things that need to happen, things that need to be bought, various stuff like that. So I'm going with Morgan just for those 3 nights to try and ease that journey a little bit and have
Yeah.
a car to go to Target and stuff. And, you know, 3 nights seemed like a good idea at the time. It's
I
rapidly
know, it is.
coming closer, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
what a foolish plan. But actually, it's gonna be fun. We've got park tickets, and it'll all be good.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun, and,
Fab.
and then obviously Josh is coming on the Sunday, so it'll be then all Monday, all hell breaks loose, and
yeah.
they check into Flamingo Crossing
Yeah.
and everything. So I think it's just gonna be so quick from now till then. It's just gonna be this,
Yeah.
um, this rapid program of, packing and unpacking and repacking as, from like Morgan said, he's got to leave university
Yeah.
and pack up his entire life there and move it back to our garage before packing up for
All the
Orlando.
Lego I've got to move.
Or the Lego you're going to buy with your
Oh,
merchandise
good
discount
grief,
in
yeah.
Orlando.
I was gonna say,
I'd,
that's assuming that I don't already have a set of Lego in a duffel bag at the minute that's unopened that I need to make.
That's the problem. The discounts that you guys get. It's going to be
No.
It's gonna be
the baggage on the
it's
way
gonna
home.
be
Where most of the weight is
expensive,
gonna
Claire,
go.
that's what you're trying to say.
It
It's gonna be
is.
expensive. Yeah, yeah. Can I just ask both of you? I know I'm trying to keep to time because everyone gives me into trouble for going longer whenever I'm in charge of a show. I'm gonna ask each of you a question, right? And I think it's really pertinent to everything that we've spoken about in this show. But what's the one thing that you most want to be able to do as a cast member? I got with Josh first this time.
One thing I want to do most as a cast member probably be make
Yeah.
somebody's day, and you've made that person's day, and that when they go home that evening and they're telling all the friends that they've been to Disney World and this happened during the day, that this moment stood out to this person. Yeah, I think that's what I'm striving to hopefully achieve this summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Morg, what about you? Apart from making sure that nobody slips up in Club Cool.
I'm not sure you can.
Everyone drinks. Everyone drinks the Beverly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh,
I think that's really good. I love that because actually,
Nothing.
I think that's so good
Nothing.
because you've actually both bought into this whole. You can see that you're actually buying into that whole Disney thing. You're there to work and you're there to make it a magical experience. I love that, and it's that whole thing. You don't have a list of must-do stuff. Not a case of blagging your way on to being the one of the first to
Guardians,
first to ride Tiana's whatever splash mountain that she wants to call it these days. And because if you go with a list of must-dos, then actually you're not going to succeed. And I think that's come to me loud and clear through the whole of this show. It's just between the two of you, you've got such a wonderful attitude to what's going to happen over the summer. That can only make it even more magical for both of you. And certainly from a parental side of it, I won't speak just for Claire, but I'll speak for myself. But the fact it makes me really proud of the fact that, as a show, we've been part of that journey. And actually, we look forward to welcoming you back on the show to see exactly how it all went. And hopefully give people, again, just that little bit of information that'll make the difference to them wanting to go and do it. Claire, what would you think? So I'm not going to talk for you.
No, I think you're right. No. I think you're right. I think the thing about the conversation we've had today and the previous show we did earlier this year, and I think was it February, the middle of February, we talked to Josh and Morg. I think it's kind of timeless in terms of the process. So I would say that if anyone, even if it's like 3-4 years down the line and people are thinking about maybe applying, at this point we're in 2024, we're in middle of May. The applications for next summer, 2025 summer program, will open probably in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, because it takes a whole year to do the process. So hopefully we've been able to give some information that's relevant to people who might be thinking about doing it next year. And I think that's the important thing, is that this is a kind of conversation that will get replayed on an annual basis. So if you're listening to these shows not in 2024, or you're re-listening to them in 2025, 2026, because it's your turn and you're old enough and it's your time, then hopefully the information that Josh and Morg have been able to give, and also that we've been able to share as a show, has been useful to you. I think that's the important bit, because there really isn't, I'm aware that Josh and Morg have both had to sign an NDA with Disney, so that they can't talk about what happens backstage. They can't talk about what happens on stage. They can talk about their experiences in Flamingo Crossing and their life, their life experiences, but they can't talk about what happens with the company. This bit we can talk about, and this is the bit that probably gives people most anxiety, is of the process.
Absolutely.
And the forms and the million different internet, systems that you have to utilize. So I'm really pleased that we've been able to bring that information forward for everyone, and to try and demystify it a little bit, alongside, promoting this as an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, 100%.
Just jumping in quickly. I think the actual applications for the Cultural Exchange Program 2025 are now open.
There we go.
Well, there you are.
I think as of this moment of recording, which is
so on cue.
They will have been open for a while.
There you are.
Yeah. Get your application in.
And, get your application in, and just take the chance and take the risk and enjoy it. And do something exciting.
Oh, definitely. And also,
and gives us John, it gives us a reason to go there on holiday.
That's the other thing as well. That's a bit that's becoming more relevant for me as well. It's sort of that whole thing about being able to go in August and just sort of, that's going to be emotional enough as it is. So, to actually go out and
there's a whole cornhole competition.
Oh yes,
planned,
absolutely.
I believe that.
And a Halloween party and lots more besides. And
right. We're going to have so much fun.
So
these guys are not going to want to go to the parks. They're going to be fed up.
Yeah, exactly. Just before we wrap up,
we're going to push people cornhole toss all summer now.
I know. That's it. You're going to get.
Yeah, you can practice though. You guys can go and have, on your day off, you can go to Fort Wilderness Lodge and have a beer from, Geyser Point and have a practice.
We might get some expert tuition from somebody as well.
Yeah. I know.
If anyone is wanting any additional information about this, get in touch with us through our Facebook community in the Wafflers Arms. We'd be more than willing to just give you a little bit more advice if you want it. That's also the same place to go to if you want to just maybe catch up with these guys. We will share as much as we can of their experiences over the summer. And obviously, we will be delighted to go and see them in August and just enjoy exactly what that brings as well. So, guys, just go and have the most brilliant time. I'm so jealous of you. I really think it is the chance of a lifetime. And just thank you for being part of the show for this month.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's been good to be back.
Pleasure as always. However, there's only one thing left to say. And as always, now go have an adventure.